In a vast national park located at the heart of Africa, the morning sun rose over the landscape, casting a warm, golden glow across the fields. Rolling hills met the horizon, and acacia trees dotted the vast savanna. This stunning environment was home to many wild animals, each finding its place in the circle of life that thrived there. The air was alive with sounds, the rustle of leaves in the gentle breeze and the cheerful chirps of birds beginning their day. Rangers at the park were busy preparing for another day of work. Clad in khaki uniforms, they gathered their tools and equipment, excited to venture into the wilderness. Their main goal was to protect and preserve the wildlife, while educating visitors about the delicate ecosystem surrounding them. If you enjoy this video, please like the video and subscribe for more. And tell me where you are watching from today. I always find it awesome to see where all my viewers are watching from. Let's get back to the video. Each ranger had their own favorite animal or spot in the park, stories of which always seemed to spark enthusiasm among their colleagues. As they made their way through the hardy underbrush, they shared laughter and anecdotes about past encounters. One ranger recounted a close-up meeting with a giraffe, while another talked about a family of mischievous monkeys that always stole his lunch. Their camaraderie was clear. Working together day after day had created strong bonds among them. The park was peaceful, yet it felt like an untamed world full of surprises around every corner. From time to time, they would glimpse elephants marching along majestic trails, playful lions resting in the shade, or vibrant birds soaring high above. These experiences renewed their sense of purpose. Protecting such beauty made their jobs meaningful. Among these majestic inhabitants was a magnificent bull elephant named Jabari. He was known far and wide for his impressive size and determined spirit, often commanding attention wherever he roamed. Rangers and visitors alike admired him. His powerful tusks glinted in the sunlight, while his rough skin carried deep wrinkles and battle scars that told a story of past encounters with other creatures. Today started out like any other, but little did they know that it would soon take a dangerous turn. As lunch approached, chatter among rangers filled the air until an unexpected sound silenced them. A low rumble followed by distant crashing noises from the thicket nearby. The rangers exchanged curious glances. "What's that?" whispered one ranger, straining to hear above the rustling of grass. Before they could investigate further, Jabari emerged from behind the trees. His large body moved quickly with purpose, his ears flapping slightly in agitation. The rangers' hearts raced as they recognized that something wasn't right. This majestic creature rarely charged toward anyone unless he felt threatened. Could he be in danger? It was time for them to act, quickly but carefully. Instinctively, they fell silent, observing Jabari's movements while debating what to do next. The moment felt surreal, a powerful symbol of nature's beauty now seemingly under stress. As Jabari approached closer, determination gleamed in his eye, along with an undeniable urgency that spoke volumes more than words ever could. The gathering clouds above seemed to echo his conflict, darkening and casting shadows across the land. Unpleasant scenarios danced through their minds as they stood on alert. Was Jabari protecting his territory? Was he simply frightened? Little did they know that beneath this charge lay a story begging to be uncovered. A story rooted deep into Jabari's distress and tied to a secret waiting to be revealed within his powerful stride. Jabari stood out among the wildlife in the national park, a true giant of the savanna. His massive frame towered over the other animals, and his powerful presence commanded respect from both creatures and humans alike. With a height that reached nearly 10 feet at the shoulder, he was a sight to behold. The rangers often marveled at his sheer size and strength as he moved gracefully across the plains, each step resonating with the earth beneath him. His skin, a textured gray, was marked with deep wrinkles that illustrated his many years roaming the land. Each wrinkle told a tale of survival, wisdom, and experiences that shaped him into the formidable creature he had become. Jabari's tusks, long and curved, glinted like polished ivory in the sunlight. These tusks were not only impressive, but also essential tools for his survival. He used them to dig for water or scrape bark from trees to find food. Jabari played a vital role in maintaining balance within the ecosystem. As one of nature's largest herbivores, he helped shape the landscape by uprooting shrubs and creating pathways through thick brush. This behavior allowed new plants to grow and provided habitats for smaller animals. Elephants are often referred to as ecosystem engineers because their actions create opportunities for countless other species to thrive. While many admired Jabari from afar, they might not have understood just how crucial he was to his environment. By breaking branches and knocking down trees, he opened up areas for grasses to flourish, which in turn attracted various grazing animals. The relationships among species formed a web of life that relied on Jabari's contributions. As Jabari charged toward the rangers, there was an air of urgency about him that hinted at trouble brewing beneath his powerful exterior. The rangers could see how his strong legs propelled him forward with alarming speed. His ears flared open like sails catching the wind, giving him an even more imposing look as he approached. Yet it was not just Jabari's physical strength that made him remarkable. It was also his intelligence and social nature. Elephants are known for their complex social structures. They live in tight-knit family groups led by a matriarch who guides them with wisdom passed down through generations. Jabari had likely been part of these interactions, learning from older elephants about which plants were safe to eat or where to find water during dry spells. The rangers exchanged worried glances as they watched him approach. They knew that something must be troubling this magnificent beast. An animal so proud and strong should not be charging without reason. There was an anxious feeling in the air as they noticed Jabari's typically calm demeanor replaced by signs of distress. Was there danger nearby? Were poachers threatening his herd? Or perhaps something more personal was affecting him? As thoughts raced through their minds, the rangers couldn't shake off the feeling that there was an important issue lying just beneath Jabari's impressive exterior. A hidden problem waiting to be uncovered. In this moment of tension between man and beast, it became clear how interconnected their fates were. While Jabari played a crucial role in sustaining life around him, it would take great courage and teamwork from the rangers to ensure his health and safety in return. The responsibility weighed heavily on their shoulders as they prepared themselves for what lay ahead. An encounter that held both danger and potential for compassion. The rangers stationed in the national park were not just employees. They were dedicated guardians of the wildlife and the delicate balance of nature. Each member of the team had a unique background, but they all shared a passion for protecting the animals and ensuring the safety of visitors. Some were trained biologists with extensive knowledge of animal behaviors, while others had grown up in rural communities where they learned about the land and its inhabitants from a young age. As Jabari charged toward them, the rangers sprang into action, their training kicking in as adrenaline surged through their bodies. Each ranger had specific responsibilities that contributed to the team's overall mission. One ranger, named Samuel, was skilled in tracking animal movements and often used his keen sense of observation to assess situations before they escalated. He quickly scanned the area around Jabari, looking for any signs of danger or distress that might explain the elephant's sudden aggression. Another ranger, Amina, was an expert in wildlife rescue and rehabilitation. She had spent years learning how to approach potentially dangerous situations with care and compassion. Her calm demeanor helped reassure her fellow rangers as they faced Jabari's intimidating presence. "We need to stay focused," she reminded them, emphasizing the importance of keeping a clear head in moments of crisis. While some rangers positioned themselves to observe Jabari's movements closely, others prepared equipment that might be necessary for a rescue operation. They carried tools like tranquilizer darts, ropes, and medical kits intended for treating injuries on both animals and humans. Each ranger knew that their role could help save lives, whether it meant assisting injured animals or keeping visitors safe from unexpected encounters in the wild. Communication was vital among the rangers as they coordinated their actions. They spoke in hushed tones, strategizing on how best to approach Jabari without provoking him further. It was essential that they worked as a team. Every member had to trust one another completely, especially during challenging situations where instincts could lead to dangerous outcomes. While keeping a close eye on Jabari's body language, his raised ears and tense posture indicated agitation. The rangers also remained aware of their surroundings. They understood that elephants are highly intelligent creatures capable of sensing human emotions. If Jabari felt threatened or cornered, it could lead to a more aggressive reaction. The rangers needed to convey calmness and control, both to Jabari and to each other. The park's landscape also played a significant role in their duties. With dense bushes and open plains, visibility could change quickly, making it crucial for them to maintain communication at all times. Samuel pointed out landmarks to help his teammates navigate, while ensuring they stayed alert for any changes in Jabari's behavior. As they prepared for this encounter with the charging elephant, a sense of unity surrounded them. Each ranger understood that their individual skills complemented one another, creating a strong foundation for their efforts. The stakes were high. Not only was Jabari's well-being at risk, but so was the safety of everyone nearby. In those tense moments leading up to their encounter with Jabari, the rangers felt both fear and determination. They were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, to protect not only an incredible creature like Jabari, but also the harmony of the ecosystem they had sworn to defend. Their hearts beat in rhythm with nature's pulse, knowing that their actions would impact the delicate balance they fought so hard to maintain. The tension in the air became palpable as Jabari stormed toward the rangers, each thunderous step echoing through the landscape. His ears flared wide, and his massive trunk swung in a way that was both commanding and alarming. The normally majestic creature now appeared wild and unpredictable, creating an atmosphere charged with anxiety. It was a stark contrast to the tranquil morning they had just experienced. Samuel, who had been tracking Jabari's movements, felt his heart race. "He's coming at us fast," he exclaimed, taking a step back while keeping an eye on the elephant's posture. Amina, standing close by, clenched her fists in determination, ready to take action but aware of the need for caution. "Stay calm. We have to keep him from feeling cornered," she urged. The rangers spread out slightly, creating a broad line to avoid trapping Jabari between them. They could feel the heat radiating from their bodies mixed with increasing tension as they watched the charging bull. Jabari's powerful presence was overwhelming. It demanded respect and caution simultaneously. As he approached, the sound of snapping branches filled the air, evidence of his frustration as he tore through the brush in his path. Wildlife flickered into hiding, birds took flight, and small animals scurried away from the impending collision between man and beast. The once serene sanctuary now buzzed with nervous energy. Jabari's eyes glinted with urgency, reflecting the rising panic within him. The rangers knew that elephants could become agitated for many reasons. Perhaps there was a threat to his territory, or he might be protecting a hidden calf nearby. Whatever it was, Jabari seemed desperate to communicate his discomfort. But what came out was a distressing display of aggression. "Get ready to observe his body language," advised Samuel. The rangers positioned themselves strategically, maintaining a safe distance while trying to discern the root of Jabari's distress. They needed to remain calm themselves to ensure that he sensed no fear from them. This was harder said than done. Instinct urged them to flee from danger. Suddenly, just as they braced themselves for whatever would happen next, they noticed something unusual about Jabari's foot. He lifted one massive leg high off the ground for a moment as he charged, revealing what looked like a tangled mass sticking out from beneath his foot. It flashed by so quickly that only those closest could catch a glimpse. "Aha!" Samuel exclaimed under his breath as he realized that the elephant wasn't merely upset. Something was physically wrong. "Look at his foot." He pointed urgently toward Jabari's swelling ankle, emphasizing that this was likely causing him pain. Understanding dawned on Amina as she refocused her attention on Jabari's foot. "We need to help him. If we can get close enough," she began. But her voice trailed off as she struggled with how daunting their task seemed. Simultaneously frightened and empathetic, each ranger felt galvanized by a shared goal: rescuing this magnificent creature while ensuring their safety. The atmosphere shifted once more into a blend of urgency and resolve as they prepared to confront Jabari's genuine distress. The decision loomed over them. Do they stand firm in the face of danger or act quickly to relieve the burden that weighed on this majestic guardian of their park? The answer lay within their training and their unwavering commitment to protect not just Jabari, but all of nature around them. As they moved closer with cautious steps, every ranger knew this encounter would test their courage in ways they had never expected. With every beat of their hearts aligned with nature's rhythm, they stood ready to shift from mere observers into active participants in preserving life. A powerful and urgent mission that could change their day entirely. The moment Jabari charged toward the rangers, their training kicked in almost instinctively. Each ranger had undergone rigorous preparation for wildlife emergencies, ensuring they could react swiftly and effectively in any situation. The combination of adrenaline and experience sharpened their focus, allowing them to act decisively as the massive elephant approached. Samuel took the lead, his voice steady despite the imminent danger. "Spread out. We need to give him space." Just as he had been taught, he quickly signaled his teammates with hand gestures, guiding them to form a wider perimeter around Jabari while keeping a close eye on the elephant's movements. They instinctively understood the importance of not crowding the creature, recognizing that Jabari's distress could escalate if he felt trapped. Amina moved with purpose, her eyes darting between Jabari and her fellow rangers. She recalled how important it was to remain calm in such situations. Panic could escalate fear for both the humans and the animal involved. "Stay low and quiet," she instructed softly, emphasizing the need to convey calmness to Jabari. Her gentle tone helped to remind everyone of their shared goal: protecting both themselves and the majestic creature charging before them. As they positioned themselves strategically, each ranger's role became clear. Some focused on observing Jabari's behavior, while others prepared for potential rescue measures. One ranger grabbed a tranquilizer dart from his kit, ready to use it if necessary, though they all hoped it would not come to that. The rangers knew that even with such powerful tools at their disposal, they preferred to avoid tranquilizing an already distressed animal, unless absolutely required. Meanwhile, Samuel kept his eyes locked on Jabari's foot, where he noticed the source of concern. "Look at how he lifts that leg," he shouted urgently, his heart racing as he identified a tangled mass stuck under Jabari's ankle. This reinforced their resolve. It was not just aggression. This giant creature was in pain and needed help. In a split-second decision, Amina assessed their options. "If we can get close enough to see what's wrong without spooking him further," she began. She felt confident that Jabari's agitation stemmed from his discomfort rather than any threat he perceived from them. With a plan forming in her mind, she turned back to her team with determination. "Let's move closer, but stay low. Use soft voices." The Rangers nodded in agreement and began inching forward cautiously while maintaining an air of calmness. They were fully aware that every action mattered. How they presented themselves could make a significant difference in Jabari's behavior. As they neared him slowly and methodically, Samuel called out observations to keep everyone informed about Jabari's body language. "His breathing is getting heavier. He might be feeling cornered," he said, quietly as they studied the large animal's actions closely. The urgency of their mission pressed down on them like a weight. If they didn't act carefully and quickly enough, Jabari might hurt himself further or react defensively. With each step closer, the Rangers communicated through subtle gestures and expressions instead of loud voices, a testament to their training together as a cohesive unit over time. They understood that finding the right balance between maintaining safety and providing assistance was essential. They moved with precision. Every decision weighed against potential outcomes. One wrong move could turn this rescue attempt into an accident or lead them into danger. But with their hearts aligned towards one thing, to alleviate Jabari's distress, they gathered strength from each other's resolve. With bated breath and focused determination, they prepared for what would surely be one of the most critical moments of their careers as Rangers. An encounter that would test not only their skills, but also their compassion for another living being in need. As Jabari barreled closer, the Rangers' hearts raced not only with adrenaline, but also with mounting concern. Samuel and Amina moved in sync with their team, eyes fixed on the massive bull elephant as he trotted toward them. The tension in the air was thick, and they remained acutely aware that each moment brought them closer to a pivotal moment, one that could define both their mission and Jabari's well-being. Suddenly, a collective gasp escaped the Rangers as they caught sight of something alarming beneath Jabari's foot. As he lifted his leg high off the ground to charge, the Rangers glimpsed a tangled mass that appeared to be caught on his ankle. It wriggled and shifted slightly as Jabari moved, struggling against the restraint and likely causing him further agony. "Look at his foot," Samuel shouted, urgency in his voice. In an instance of heightened awareness and worry, he pointed toward Jabari's swollen ankle. "There's something wrapped around it." His observation sent a shiver of alarm through the group as they processed what it meant for both Jabari and themselves. Amina stepped closer to her colleagues and lowered her voice. "We need to figure out what that is and how we can help him without getting too close," she said, noticing Jabari's frantic energy as he attempted to shake off the burden. If he feels threatened, he might escalate his behavior. The sight of Jabari struggling filled everyone with empathy. No animal should suffer like this. With every sweeping movement of his trunk and every drastic shift of his bulk, it became evident that this wasn't merely a display of aggression, it was desperation. The nature-based connection they felt with this majestic creature urged them to take action quickly. Samuel nodded, providing Amina with silent support as they prepared for the next steps. "Let's observe before approaching," suggested calmly, while reinforcing their understanding of animal behavior. They observed closely. Jabari's breathing had grown labored, and his mannerisms reflected overwhelming anxiety. Gradually moving together, the team maintained vigilance, watching Jabari's reactions to gauge how far they could get without increasing his stress levels. They communicated through subtle gestures, quick looks to one another, to stay attuned to Jabari's shifting state of mind. The mission now hovered between necessity and caution. "What do we think it is?" whispered another ranger named Elena, scanning the area for any signs or waste that might help identify what had ensnared one of their ecosystem's most important inhabitants. "I don't know," Amina admitted reluctantly. "It could be anything, from trash content to remnants of old wire or rope left behind by careless visitors." The attempt to provide context helped solidify unity among them. Everyone felt mutually invested in helping him. Each ranger knew that if they didn't act soon enough, not only would Jabari continue suffering enormous pain, but he might also risk injuring himself further amid his thrashings. A heartbreaking reality none wanted. Samuel took a deep breath to steady himself while offering directions. "Remember to take it slow. Let's give him space, but still approach carefully." The urgency in his tone revealed deep respect for the elephant, while simultaneously tinged with concern over how their actions could impact him. With newfound determination pulsating through them, the rangers began inching closer once again, tension lingering in their chests. But this time armed with shared empathy and intent to alleviate what burdened this powerful creature. As they moved forward, subtle adjustments had been made within the group dynamic. Each ranger silently promised themselves that they were about to embark on both a risky challenge and an opportunity for compassion. One that could shape not just the story of Jabari, but also reflect the resilience of nature itself through human hands willing to lend help when desperately needed. As the rangers inched closer to Jabari, they could clearly see what was causing him distress. Tangled around his ankle was a long piece of old fishing line, frayed and filthy, the remnants of careless human activity that had somehow found its way into the wild. The line wrapped tightly around his leg, restricting movement and cutting into his skin, contributing to the swelling they had observed. A wave of sadness washed over the rangers as they recognized the implications of this heart-wrenching sight. "This shouldn't be happening," Amina murmured, her voice filled with compassion. It was a sobering reminder of how human actions could inadvertently harm wildlife, disrupting the balance of nature that the rangers fought to protect every day. Jabari's immense size contrasted sharply with the fragile line digging into his flesh. It seemed inconceivable that such a simple object, a discarded piece of fishing gear, could pose such a significant threat to one of the savanna's most powerful inhabitants. Samuel clenched his jaw in frustration, knowing how crucial it was for both animals and humans to coexist in harmony without causing one another suffering. As they continued their careful approach, the rangers exchanged glances filled with understanding and shared purpose. "We have to help him," Samuel said, his determination shining through. "If we can get that line off without hurting him further, it will make a world of difference." Elena stepped forward, scanning surrounding areas for potential tools or materials they might use to free Jabari from his plight. "We should be able to gently cut it without causing more injury," she suggested as she rummaged through her backpack. "But we need to do this carefully." Amina kept her focus on Jabari's foot, paying close attention to how he reacted as they moved closer. She saw how the elephant shifted nervously from side to side, likely feeling the strain from both the discomfort of the line and their proximity. "We must proceed slowly," she advised, making sure each ranger understood the weight of their actions. As they drew nearer still, it became evident just how deeply rooted human impact could be within nature. The line had not only caused physical pain, it represented a larger concern about environmental conservation and wildlife safety. the rangers were reminded of countless other incidents where trash and debris had found their way into natural habitats, creating hazardous situations for animals who were helpless against such threats. "It's our responsibility to clean up these messes," Elena remarked softly, feeling a swell of resolve rise within her. "Every piece of garbage we can remove helps prevent future problems like this." The others nodded in agreement, unified in their commitment to both the present situation and their ongoing mission as guardians of the park. Finally, close enough for action, but still cautious not to startle Jabari further, Samuel took a deep breath and prepared himself for direct contact with the elephant's foot. "When we do this, it will be crucial that we maintain calm voices and clear movements." "He needs reassurance," he instructed. With everyone ready, Amina knelt down beside Jabari's foot, while Samuel held his trunk gently, soothingly speaking to him, as if trying to communicate directly what they intended to do. The connection forged between man and beast felt deeply personal. At that moment, Jabari wasn't just an animal in distress. He was a sentient being deserving of care and compassion. As Amina reached out for the fishing line with steady hands, they all held their breath in anticipation. This act would represent more than just an intervention. It would embody their promise as rangers not only to protect wildlife, but also to combat the consequences of human negligence that seeped into nature's tapestry. Together, they aimed not just for a solution, but for a renewed commitment toward stewardship, their hearts beating in sync with nature's pulse as they prepared to liberate Jabari from his unseen chains. As the rangers moved closer to Jabari, they could feel the weight of their decision pressing down on them. The sight of the old fishing line tangled around his ankle was distressing, but approaching a charging bull elephant was not without its dangers. Every ranger present understood the gravity of the moment. They were standing on the precipice between intervention and potential catastrophe. Samuel looked around at his team, gauging their readiness. "We need to be united in our approach. If we act without caution, we risk escalating an already tense situation," he said, his voice steady yet urgent. Amina nodded, her eyes fixed on Jabari, who was still shifting uncomfortably and letting out low trumpets that echoed through the trees. "Right now, he's in pain and fear," Amina added. "We have to consider his state of mind. If he perceives us as a threat while he's distressed, it could lead to a dangerous reaction." The team instinctively felt the weight of those words. Their intuitive understanding of animal behavior helped them navigate this precarious moment. Each ranger contributed their insights as they assessed Jabari's condition and behavior. Elena pointed out how Jabari was lifting his leg higher with every step, which clearly indicated his discomfort. "We can't let him feel cornered," she warned. "If we get too close too quickly, he might feel the need to defend himself." The urgency in her voice was clear. The rangers needed to act swiftly but thoughtfully. The tension among the rangers grew palpable as Jabari continued his erratic movements. His body language exhibited a mix of agitation and pain, an unpredictable combination that made every step they took fraught with uncertainty. "What if we start to move toward him slowly?" Samuel suggested. "We allow him to see our intentions without pushing him further into panic." "Good idea," Amina replied. "Let's spread out and give him some space while we approach. This way, he has options." In unison, the rangers took a collective breath and adjusted their positions, creating a semicircle around Jabari, but ensuring they maintained a safe distance. Their training emphasized not only the importance of respecting wildlife, but also understanding the delicate interplay of emotions involved in such encounters. The rangers reminded each other to communicate quietly and clearly. Subtle gestures replaced loud shouts. They knew that maintaining calmness would be key in instilling trust in Jabari. Every moment mattered as they weighed the risks of drawing closer against the pressing need to help alleviate the elephant's suffering. The decision to intervene was not taken lightly. Each ranger was acutely aware that failure could lead to injury for both them and Jabari. "Let's keep talking softly to him," Amina suggested as she began gently calling out to Jabari, hoping to soothe him while her teammates did the same. The sound of their voices mingled with the rustling leaves and distant bird calls, creating a hopeful ambience that might help reassure the distressed creature. As they moved gradually forward, each ranger reflected on the role humans play in affecting wildlife. They realized that Jabari's predicament was not an isolated incident. It was a reminder of how human negligence could rip through the fabric of nature. This thought anchored their resolve as they sought to protect not only Jabari, but also other creatures facing similar fates because of discarded waste and pollution. With breath held collectively, they reached a new level of focus as they neared Jabari's side. They had done their best to assess the situation with care, weighing risks against responsibilities. Now, it was time to put their plans into action. Not just for Jabari's sake, but as a pledge to themselves and the ecosystem they vowed to protect. This critical moment would reveal whether they could bridge the gap between human intervention and animal welfare effectively. As their hearts synchronized in purpose, they took another step closer to Jabari, ready to fulfill their promise as guardians of both wildlife and nature itself. As the rangers gathered in a small circle, they exchanged glances filled with determination and focus, ready to formulate a plan to help Jabari while ensuring their own safety. Each ranger understood the importance of teamwork in this critical moment, knowing that their success depended on clear communication and coordinated actions. Samuel took the lead, outlining the situation as they stood around Jabari. "We have to approach him carefully. He's in pain, and we must avoid making him feel threatened," he said. His calm demeanor instilled confidence in the group. "Amina, you have experience with wildlife rescue. What do you recommend for our first steps?" Amina nodded and quickly scanned Jabari's body language. "Let's start by spreading out a bit more to give him space. We can create a semicircle around him while keeping a safe distance. This way, he won't feel cornered." She emphasized how important it was for Jabari to have options and not feel trapped. Elena chimed in with practical suggestions. "I think I can grab some tools from my pack, like a pair of heavy scissors or a knife, so we can cut the fishing line if we get close enough. We should also have some ropes handy to keep ourselves secure if needed." The group approved her idea. They would be prepared for whatever direction the situation might take. "Good thinking," Samuel replied. "But we must remember that our voices need to stay calm and soothing as we move closer. We don't want to startle him." The rangers appreciated how Samuel's leadership helped them stay focused on their goal without overlooking critical details. As they proceeded, Amina suggested, "We should also assign roles as we approach. I'm comfortable getting close, so I'd like to be near Jabari's foot when we're ready to help." The rest of the team agreed it was wise for her to take that position since she had experience handling distressed wildlife. "Then I'll be right behind you," Samuel said, ready to support Amina while keeping an eye on Jabari's reactions. "If he starts to panic, I'll be close enough to intervene without getting in your way." He appreciated having her at the forefront, but understood that it would require all of them working together seamlessly. With their roles defined, the rangers took a collective breath and prepared themselves mentally for what lay ahead. They reminded each other of the importance of staying alert and flexible. Situations with wildlife could change rapidly, and they needed to be prepared for anything. As they began their slow approach, keeping their voices low and steady, the rangers felt an undercurrent of camaraderie strengthening between them. They moved as one unit instead of individuals. Every step taken was deliberate and measured, creating an atmosphere of trust and mutual respect. Let's also keep an eye on his ears. If they flick back toward us, or if he makes any sudden movements, we may need to reassess how close we can get, Elena pointed out, showcasing her understanding of elephant behavior. Each ranger nodded in agreement, recognizing that these signals would guide them in navigating Jabari's state of mind. As they neared Jabari's side, the tension remained palpable but focused. Every ranger felt the weight of responsibility resting on their shoulders, not just for Jabari, but for the environment they were committed to protecting. They understood that this encounter was more than just an emergency rescue. It was a reflection of their role as stewards of nature. When they finally reached a safe distance, where they could see the severity of Jabari's distress without pushing him further into panic, Samuel called out softly, "We're here to help you, big guy." His voice carried a soothing quality that reverberated through the quiet woodland. As Amina knelt down next to Jabari's foot, she looked back at her fellow rangers with determination in her eyes. "On three," she whispered. "Let's do this together." With hearts synchronized in purpose and hope driving them forward, they prepared for this crucial moment. A chance not only to save an elephant in distress, but also to reinforce their commitment to preserving the fragile bond between humans and nature. With their plan in place and hearts filled with determination, the rangers prepared to execute their rescue mission. As they approached Jabari, the rangers moved as one cohesive unit, maintaining a slow and steady pace. They understood that every movement counted. It was crucial to convey their intentions clearly without startling the powerful bull elephant further. Amina took the lead, kneeling down to be at eye level with Jabari, her voice soft and soothing. "We're here to help you, big guy," she whispered, hoping the gentle tone would resonate with him. The rangers had learned that speaking calmly could often ease an animal's anxiety, and they needed all of Jabari's trust to successfully complete their task. Samuel followed closely behind Amina, his hands raised slightly to show he meant no harm. "Stay calm, everyone," he said in a low voice. "Let him see our hands. We're not here to hurt you." The rangers took turns speaking softly, each attempting to build a connection with Jabari as they drew nearer. As they settled into their roles, Elena knelt on one side while Samuel positioned himself on the other. It was important for them to not only be close enough to help, but also ensure that Jabari felt secure in their presence. Each ranger was ready to react if Jabari displayed signs of aggression. They had trained for countless scenarios like this one. Jabari continued to shift his weight from foot to foot, his eyes wide and aware of their actions. The old fishing line remained tangled around his ankle, a painful reminder of human impact on wildlife. A deep frown settled on Amina's face as she assessed the situation. It was crucial that they act quickly, but also thoughtfully. "Okay," Amina said quietly, glancing back at her team for reassurance. "I'm going to reach out for his foot now. Keep talking to him." She extended her arm slowly toward Jabari's ankle, her palm open and non-threatening. "Easy does it," Samuel replied calmly, eyes fixed on Jabari while maintaining a soothing tone. He continued murmuring reassurance as Amina carefully approached the elephant's foot. In this moment, time felt suspended. The world around them faded as all focus centered on Jabari. The rangers sensed an undeniable connection with him, a powerful creature in need of assistance who mirrored their own vulnerability in this precarious encounter. As Amina reached Jabari's foot, she gently placed her hand on his leg, careful to avoid sudden movements. She could feel the tension radiating from his body, but remained hopeful that their calmness would positively influence his response. "You're okay. We just want to help," she soothed quietly. Elena positioned herself strategically nearby, prepared with the tools they had gathered, while also monitoring Jabari's body language closely. "He seems a bit more relaxed," she noted, relieved yet vigilant. Recognizing that Jabari's anxiety might ease was a sign that they were gaining his trust, something essential for this operation. Samuel spoke encouragingly as well. "Keep breathing, big guy. You're going to be all right." He watched as Amina began to assess how tightly the fishing line was wrapped around Jabari's ankle. Every detail mattered. Working together seamlessly, while being mindful of each other's roles, brought forth a sense of unity among the Rangers, a bond fueled by their shared purpose and commitment to wildlife conservation. They knew this rescue was not just about saving one elephant, but also about showcasing humanity's capacity for compassion and understanding toward nature. As Amina prepared to cut through the fishing line gently, she whispered words of encouragement mixed with gratitude for Jabari being so brave, despite his distress. They were ready now, each ranger attuned to both the elephant's needs and one another's support, aiming not only for success in this moment, but also for making amends for past human interventions gone awry. With steady hands and focused minds, they moved forward together into this vital moment, their courage steered by compassion, and prepared themselves for what came next. A chance not just to relieve pain, but also to reaffirm their shared role as guardians of nature, dedicated to coexistence amid life's intricate dance between man and beast. With their hearts pounding and breaths held, the Rangers focused intently on Amina as she prepared to cut the fishing line wrapped around Jabari's ankle. She felt a surge of determination coursing through her as she gently grasped the frayed edges of the line, carefully positioning the scissors to avoid causing any further pain to the massive animal. "On three," Amina whispered, glancing back at her team for reassurance. Samuel nodded, their eyes locking for a brief moment in silent communication, reinforcing their shared commitment to this critical task. 1, 2, 3. As she made the cut, Amina felt a wave of relief wash over her when the line finally released its grip on Jabari's leg. The tension in the air seemed to dissipate instantly as everyone held their breath, watching closely for Jabari's reaction. Would he bolt? Would he accept their help? To their astonishment, Jabari paused for just a moment, his body relaxing slightly as if understanding that they had removed his burden. The Rangers looked at one another wide-eyed. It was a pivotal moment that filled them with hope. "Look, he seems calmer," Elena exclaimed softly, her voice bubbling with excitement and relief. The other Rangers shared her sentiment. They had come together in such an intense situation, and now it felt as if they were witnessing a small victory. Jabari shifted his weight from side to side, but no longer appeared agitated. Instead, he lowered his head slightly and let out a low rumble that echoed through the trees, almost like a deep sigh of relief. "We did it," Samuel breathed out, relief flooding his face as he stepped back to assess Jabari's condition further. Amina carefully finished cutting away the remaining strands of fishing line that had entangled him, ensuring there was nothing left that could cause him harm. Each snip brought more excitement as they realized how close they were to restoring Jabari's comfort. "Keep talking to him," Amina reminded her team as she worked diligently. They resumed their calm voices, encouraging Jabari while expressing joy at seeing him free from pain. "You're going to be all right now," Samuel said soothingly, while observing how Jabari's posture relaxed even more. Elena noticed something fascinating. The swelling around Jabari's ankle was beginning to decrease slightly now that the pressure had been relieved. "He's responding positively," she added excitedly, feeling a swell of pride in their teamwork. Soon enough, with every gentle gesture and word exchanged between them and the elephant, it became apparent that they had formed an unspoken bond during this experience. One built on trust and compassion exchanged amid vulnerability. As they stood by Jabari's side, watching this majestic creature slowly regain his composure and confidence, each ranger felt overwhelming feelings of success and gratitude wash over them. They were grateful not only for having helped save an iconic animal, but also for having shared a moment where human intervention resulted in healing rather than harm. "Let's take a step back now," Amina suggested, after ensuring everything was safe for both herself and Jabari. They moved collectively away while maintaining their soft voices. It was essential not to startle him again after all that had transpired. As they watched the elephant begin to walk more freely across the grasslands, his powerful strides exhibiting grace once more, the rangers exchanged smiles filled with joy and pride in what they had accomplished together, saving an incredible creature while reinforcing their mission as stewards of wildlife conservation. In this moment of triumph came reflections on how interconnected life truly is. All living beings playing vital roles within nature's complex web, and how each act of kindness contributed toward maintaining this beautiful balance. The day had transformed from one filled with tension and anxiety into one marked by teamwork and compassion. A heartwarming reminder that even in moments of distress, there exists immeasurable strength found within unity among those who dare protect nature's wonders. As the last remnants of the fishing line fell away, a profound silence enveloped the area, broken only by the gentle rustling of leaves and the soft sounds of nature resuming its rhythm. Jabari, now free of his burdens, took a cautious step forward, testing the weight on his ankle. The swelling was still present, but the relief from the pressure was evident in his demeanor. The rangers watched with bated breath, eager to see how Jabari would react after being freed from his painful restraint. He lifted his trunk and sniffed at the air, taking in their scent as he slowly began to move. The rangers held their breath, hopeful that he would respond positively to their intervention. With each passing moment, Jabari's body language relaxed further. He shifted his weight to his newly liberated foot and let out a low rumble that resonated deep within the trees, a sound that seemed to carry gratitude and relief. The tension that had built up not just within him, but also among the rangers, began to dissolve. "There's a spark of life in him," Elena exclaimed with a smile, her heart swelling with joy as she took in Jabari's movements. "Look how he's starting to walk more freely." The other rangers nodded in agreement as they marveled at the transformation unfolding before them. Jabari took a few tentative steps, then paused to shake his head, flapping his ears wide as if shaking off the remnants of discomfort that had lingered too long. It was a sign of release, a moment where he could now embrace freedom without the burden of pain holding him back. "Let's give him some space," Samuel suggested gently. "He needs to feel secure now that he doesn't have that line weighing him down." The rangers instinctively moved back, creating an open area for Jabari to roam freely without feeling threatened. As they stepped away, Jabari turned and faced them, those large, intelligent eyes capturing the rangers' gaze. In that silent exchange, it seemed as if they were acknowledging one another, recognizing a bond formed through compassion and shared experience. It was a powerful moment. Their efforts had not only alleviated Jabari's suffering, but also showcased how human interactions could lead to healing rather than harm. The rangers observed how Jabari began to trot gently across the grasslands, testing his strength with each stride. He would pause occasionally to investigate his surroundings or to trumpet softly into the air, signaling both his presence and newfound liberation from pain. It was clear that he was regaining confidence with every step taken. "Look at him go," Amina said with excitement bubbling in her voice. It filled them all with a sense of pride, knowing they had played a part in restoring this majestic creature's ability to thrive in the wild. Each ranger felt a deep satisfaction swell within them. They had made a difference today, not just for Jabari, but for their mission of wildlife conservation overall. As Jabari continued to explore his surroundings, the rangers took moments to reflect on what this encounter meant for him and for them as guardians of nature. They understood that while Jabari was freed from physical restraint, the true journey lay ahead, ensuring that he could continue living safely in an environment free from human-made dangers like trash or discarded fishing gear. With renewed purpose igniting their spirits, they promised themselves to keep advocating for wildlife protection and environmental stewardship within the park and beyond. They knew that every creature deserved compassion and respect. Each rescue was not merely an act, but part of a larger commitment toward preserving nature. As they watched Jabari move farther into the landscape, his silhouette framed against the vast African sky, the rangers felt uplifted by this experience. They shared smiles filled with hope and determination for future endeavors, knowing they had been part of something extraordinary today. An act of kindness that reaffirmed their role in safeguarding not just one elephant, but all wildlife within their care for generations to come. As the rangers stood watching Jabari move freely across the grasslands, a wave of reflection swept over them. They had come together not only to assist an elephant in distress, but to engage in a deeply meaningful experience that reminded them of the vital interconnection between all living beings. Today was a powerful reminder of why we do this work, Samuel said, breaking the silence as he observed Jabari's graceful movements. It's not just about protecting wildlife. It's about understanding the impact we have on nature and what we can do to change things for the better. His voice was filled with sincerity, resonating with the shared feelings of his teammates. Elena nodded in agreement, her heart swelling with pride. Seeing him walk freely after what he endured makes me think about how much we need to advocate for wildlife conservation. These moments matter, and each animal we help is a story worth sharing. Her enthusiasm illuminated the group's spirit. They were not just rescuers. They were messengers of change. Amina smiled at her colleagues, grateful for their collaboration and dedication during such a tense situation. This experience reminds me that animals are more than just creatures in our environment. They're sentient beings who feel pain, just like us. It's our duty to serve as their protectors. The empathy in her words resonated among the rangers, further solidifying their purpose. As they continued to watch Jabari, it became clear how deeply human activities could intertwine with animal experiences, both negatively and positively. The fishing line that had caused him so much pain was a stark reminder of the carelessness that sometimes characterizes human interaction with nature. We can't forget that our actions can have lasting impacts on these animals' lives, Samuel reiterated. Exactly, Amina chimed in. Today, we didn't just save Jabari. We learned about our responsibility as caretakers of this beautiful planet. It was apparent that each ranger felt a sense of urgency to not only share their stories, but also to educate others on how small actions could lead to significant changes in wildlife conservation, whether through community outreach or ensuring cleaner environments. With renewed spirits, the the group began discussing what they could do moving forward to make a difference beyond their rescue efforts today. They shared ideas about engaging local communities in conservation education, organizing cleanup, events in the national park, and raising awareness about responsible outdoor practices to prevent harmful littering. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting warm golden hues over the landscape, the rangers felt invigorated by their shared purpose. Their experiences with Jabari would serve as constant reminders of why they had chosen this path. A life dedicated to advocating for animals and the environment they inhabit. Gathering in a circle, they joined hands and took a moment of gratitude for their connection with nature and for the bond forged during the day's events. "Let's commit to being voices for those who cannot speak," Elena said passionately. "Together, we can create positive impacts, building a future where wildlife can thrive alongside humans." In that tranquil moment, surrounded by the beauty of the African wilderness, they each promised to carry forth their lessons learned. Compassion for animals and respect for nature was their shared anthem. Knowing their mission extended far beyond any individual animal, rescue reinforced their courage to continue advocating for both wildlife and environmental stewardship. As they stepped away from Jabari's location, hearts uplifted by hope and resilience, they felt empowered to take on whatever challenges lay ahead, committed to safeguarding not just this magnificent bull elephant, but all wildlife that called their beloved national park home. Their journey wasn't just about today. It was about embracing every opportunity to foster understanding and appreciation for nature's extraordinary tapestry. As the sun began its descent, casting a warm golden hue over the savanna, the rangers gathered one last time to reflect on the day's events. They had witnessed a powerful transformation in Jabari, from a distressed creature burdened by pain to a majestic elephant moving freely across the grasslands. This experience served as an important reminder of their role in wildlife conservation and the significant impact they could have through compassion and teamwork. "Every effort we make counts," Samuel said, his voice steady and reflective. "Today, we not only help Jabari, but also learned that small actions can lead to meaningful change." His words resonated with everyone, emphasizing the importance of their mission as guardians of nature. Elena joined in, her eyes sparkling with inspiration. "This incident shows us that we must continue to advocate for wildlife and address the human behaviors that inadvertently harm them. Each piece of litter we pick up, every message we share about conservation, contributes to a healthier environment for these animals." The rangers nodded in agreement, feeling a renewed sense of responsibility. Amina added, "It's essential that we educate others about our impact on wildlife. If we can inspire just a few people to think twice about their actions, it could make all the difference." She looked around at her fellow rangers, knowing they shared a common goal: to protect not only Jabari, but all creatures that inhabit their national park. As they discussed ways to promote awareness and conservation, ideas flowed freely among the group. They talked about hosting community workshops, organizing cleanup events in the park, and collaborating with schools to teach children about caring for nature. Each suggestion fueled their enthusiasm further, creating a sense of optimism for what they could accomplish together. Reflecting on Jabari's experience illuminated the deeper lessons learned that day. It had been a powerful reminder of how interconnected all living beings are, how human actions can significantly impact the lives of animals. The fishing line that had caused Jabari so much pain was a stark symbol of the need for greater awareness and responsibility when interacting with nature. "Let's take this momentum and make a pledge," Samuel proposed. "We promise to be vigilant in our efforts to protect wildlife and to encourage others to do the same. Every small action, whether it's educating ourselves or others, can lead to a larger movement for change. The Rangers united in this commitment, each of them feeling the weight of their responsibility, but also the strength of their collective resolve. As they prepared to leave for the day, they took one last look at Jabari, who was now grazing peacefully in the grasslands. His presence served as a visual reminder of why they dedicated their lives to conservation. Each ranger felt a sense of pride swell within them. They were reminded that their work mattered and that they played a crucial role in maintaining balance within the ecosystem. In that moment, they understood that protecting wildlife wasn't just about saving individual animals. It was about fostering a culture of respect and harmony with nature. Their commitment extended beyond the park's boundaries. It was about creating a legacy of stewardship for future generations. With hearts full of hope and determination, the rangers stepped away from Jabari's habitat, knowing that they had made a difference today. They were inspired to continue advocating for wildlife protection and environmental conservation, recognizing that even the smallest actions could contribute to creating a brighter future for both animals and humans alike. As they walked back toward their base, laughter and camaraderie filled the air, a testament to their shared purpose and dedication to safeguarding the wonders of nature for years to come.